Hello, Tom Levecki here with a special open mic night live. Going to talk about some of the past interviews that recently happened, some of the interesting stuff that we have coming up, and we have a special co-host today, Jason JSV Capital. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Doing well. How you doing, buddy?
I am well.
You look great. You look
I was.
refreshed. You look like refreshed, like you're ready to start the fall season, ready to get back to work. Were you on vacation or something?
Yeah. So what happened was the week before, the third week in August, I cranked out like 4 pieces
Nice.
in 1 week, and they're all like each one individually were bangers.
Yeah, I saw. I kept up.
All right, link is below. This is open mic night, open to all friends and foes. We'll have a little fun, chop it up. I don't do a lot of these. I'm going to see how it goes. If you want to contribute to the show, feel free to drop a super chat or cash app or whatever you want. Kind of help gets the wheels going for the show. Hey Pat, how are you?
Oh, I got to see what's on there.
Audio doubling. I should be okay. You sound
What about
okay.
me? Am I good?
Yeah, you're okay. A little. Yeah, you're okay. I mean, as far as I was concerned.
I'm going to see some old friends on here.
Yeah, Johnny, how are you, sir? Ciao, como está? I am smoking a We the People cigar. I was on vacation, and a guy at the resort got a cigar from the guy from the bar. He doesn't smoke cigars, so he handed it to me. It's an excellent stick. It's really nice.
Nice.
Hey, Crime Network. Big G, email me, Tom, new theory. I have your jar of sauce. So I just want to kind of share where I was. I was kind of away for a little bit. So first, I was again, I did a lot of content, which we'll get to in a second. And then I spent a full week down the shore. And then when I got back, Saturday was Sauce Day, which is an excruciating day where we make 25 bushels of sauce essentially for 5 families. It was a lot. And then Labor Day, I kind of relaxed. I've been off air, and now we're back in business. We're here,
Love it. Excellent, man. Well, happy fall, buddy. I mean, it's still summer though, but you get into that feeling. Some kids go back. Traffic is back. Traffic's back. The summer. The traffic breaks up during the summer, except Jersey Shore traffic. But other than that,
Yes.
you can, go through New York and Jersey without much traffic during the summer. But bright and early this morning, it was there.
Yeah, I think We the People, they may be Honduran. I heard something interesting actually. So Jason, I know you know this. There was an issue with Nicaraguan cigars, and allegedly, they were going to ban Nicaraguan cigars from the U.S. I think there were some like political issues, whatever. It's a big deal for a lot of the purveyors.
We've always had something with Nicaragua. Like, why?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's not a easy economy to to do business with. And
wasn't it Noriega in Nicaragua?
That's Panama.
Panama. Okay, sorry, Noriega, Nicaragua. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. No, so evidently, that is causing an issue with certain purveyors, particularly like Drew Estate, some other ones. So I don't know. It may be like a serious issue in the cigar game. Sauce Day, yes, yep. I have part 2 tomorrow. Well, Johnny, I'm not sure where you're at, and you don't have to disclose. We jarred the sauce in Labor Day weekend because who was away, getting everybody together as an act of Congress, right? But because of that, you're really kind of supposed to do it kind of like the third week, the second week. The tomatoes were terrible. We literally probably cut out 2 bushels, and we probably and the yield was poor. When it rains a lot, it's the opposite. It's weird. So the yield, we like to get like 12 jars per bushel. We only got 10. So it was a low yield year, which
you gotta love how Tom, how about it's just for everybody like me out there. We made the sauce. It was great. Sounds like it was a low yield, usually, and he goes right into the numbers. Buddy, I love that about you.
Everything is business, and business is everything. You know that. Hold on, I want to see who's here else. I'm just doing some stuff. What do you guys think of Mikey Scar's new podcast? I'm a very big RJ Roger fan. I've had him on the show before. Did you see it yet, Jason?
I did see it. I was hoping for, listen, I'm a Flash kind of guy, like with the editing and then sound in the background and, the mysterious, the story. Can't wait to the end. And I was hoping there was a little more of that, like the drama in his stories, but.
Wait, you wanted a little more juice?
Yeah, I want a little more juice, kind of like Sammy. I like that.
What, yeah, but the thing with Scars, though, is I think he's like very pragmatic and realistic. Remember, he also was like a capo. So, like, he's a management, probably more reserved. I was cool with it. I don't know. I personally.
I listen. I like wealth of knowledge. Obviously, he's telling the story. It's come from a good place. But either way, it was.
Are you surprised he's doing anything? Because he doesn't seem like a YouTube type of guy.
The first time I saw him was on that show. Oh God, who's the? It was on National Geographic, I believe, or BBC. The black newscaster guy and white hair, and he did one with John Elite, Mikey Scars. Either way, I don't know if you saw it, but either way, it was really great.
What's his name? God, I'm not drawing. I'm in a mental fart. That
Trevor something.
Trevor McDonald? No,
maybe Trevor McDonald because he did Mike Francis.
Yeah.
Either way, great series, great show. And you could see that he was not as open as everybody else. But, and that was the thing. Like, where's Mikey Scars? Everybody was talking about it in the YouTube circle. And he finally, came forward.
Well, Trevor McDonald was one of the ones who interviewed Mandela when he got out of jail. He is like a world-renowned journalist. And I kind of say to people, you can get on me about interviewing informants. It's like, well, Trevor McDonald could do it. Why can I? Hey, Michael Hensley, thank you for your service. He's smoking a Camacho Criollo. Jason, I got to tell you, we don't smoke Camachos enough. Camacho is one of those brands that is just a strong play. It's like good price.
I am so afraid. I don't know what is in my head with cigars, but
is that an AP?
if I like what I like, and I keep getting what I like, I need to be a little bit more open on my cigar choices, but it ruins my sitting if I don't like the cigar because I don't want to stop, smoking it. Right. But then it's like, I'm not enjoying it. So that's why I know when we sit down, like, let me get what I know. Let me get what I like,
Well, so I use the old adage because I get a lot of people call me, text me, whatever, that like, hey, I'm new to cigars or I want to find a good cigar. My standby is I open it out of the wrapper. I know they don't like it when you do it or take it out of the tube and I smell it. 95% of the time, probably 99% of the time, a cigar will taste as good as
it smells. And that's so true. Go ahead, buy a cheap cigar that you don't like or that you doesn't smell right. And you're going to know that right away.
Mr. Mo, how are you, sir?
How are you?
I'm honored. We are honored to have you on the screen. He's a Jersey guy, Jason. He's a good guy. We're going to hopefully have him on for a dedicated interview. What's going on, my friend?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jason. I think we have a lot in common, buddy.
I love it. I love it already. I'm sure we do.
I truly think we do. Well, I'm sitting out here on a little bit of an overcast day out in Arizona, still a little hot.
Yeah.
96 degrees.
Speaking of Arizona, there's a show on Netflix. Tom, I texted you this earlier today. It's a chef. The chef show on Netflix is a series. But anyway, they started a new series, the chef show, and they're doing pizzas, right? All over the world. The first episode they did, best pizza in the country. Guess from where? Arizona.
Yeah, okay.
No. The guy's from New York, obviously.
Oh.
So the guy's from New York and then went to Arizona, but best pizza in the country.
I gotta tell you, I've been to Italy multiple times. It's that good.
Yeah.
It's that good. I'll tell you, when he was first open, he was open 5 days a week, 5 hours a day, 5 to 10. He would do a lunchtime place. Then he'd go over to his pizza joint, Monday through Friday, 5 to 10, open 25 hours a week. You'll wait 3 hours for a pizza. But now he's got multiple locations. He's open all day. He's got a couple Mexican brothers who really, really do a great job. Twins, they do a nice job handling one of his joints. And if you ever get a chance to get out there, guys, it really is that good.
Really quick, I want to talk about cigar supply chain. There's certain purveyors, especially the Nicaraguan ones, Hondurans, some of the Dominicans, that their supply chain issues. When we went over to Dave's one time, I'm a big T52 fan. That's a Drew Estate one. They're out. They're hard to get, but there are supply chain issues. Mo, what's the name of the place that's so popular? What's it called?
What's that?
What's a pizza place called?
Pizzeria Bianco.
Yes, there we go. Yes, thank you for remembering that.
From the Bronx, his name's Chris Bianco, and his brother owns the bread joint Pane Bianco. So it's really, it's the real deal.
What is it? Napoleon, New York style? What type of style is
it? Yeah, sort of VPN, but he doesn't stick to the actual VPN, so he doesn't undercook it. My problem with some of the VPN places, they'll pull out at 90 seconds, whether it's done or not, and then they don't want to put it back in for me. So he does a great job.
I personally love Napoleon pizza. That's my issue with Dave Portnoy. He doesn't like it, so he rates it way too low. And Mo, you've been to Italy, correct?
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah. So, and you know this, in Napoli, believe it or not, the pizzas, when you sit down, you get a pizzetta and you eat it all yourself. So you'll be like 5 people.
No, that's this place.
Yeah, but on top of it,
these are a little big, so you'll be full when you eat the whole one, but you're gonna eat it.
Yeah.
But if you got a nice, antipasto or something first, roasted vegetable or something like that, then you split one, then you're fine. We go between ball games and concerts and stuff.
Now, do you guys like it piping hot? I'm a piping hot kind of guy.
I do. I'm gonna burn my mouth, and that's all there is to it.
I love it, and I know it, and it happens every time.
But the cheese stays hot
every time.
What about
good? When I moved out here, I'm almost 55. I'm out here now just a little more than half my life. So my birthday's coming up in a couple weeks. That'll make 28 years in Arizona and 27 in Jersey. So when I moved out here, the food was horrible. And now I would definitely consider us in the top, whatever, probably 10, 15% of cities as far as food goes.
That's what I heard.
No doubt.
So Mo, you're from Jason's neck of the woods, Bloomfield, Belleville area, right?
Belleville. I lived on the very last block in Belleville, on the border of Bloomfield.
Oh shit! My wife's from Belleville. My wife's from Belleville. Belleville's still pretty nice. Nutley is holding it down. Nutley, to me,
Nutley's holding it down. It's little square.
Because all our people moved there.
All right, so I have a bone to pick with our Italian brethren, and here's why. Okay, Italians, as you know, are nomadic people, right? They moved from Southern Italy, Brooklyn, Belleville, Elizabeth, Bronx, wherever they move, right? They make a few dollars, they get out of Dodge, right? They make even more money, they go even farther, right? I always said I never understood why the Italian, Gianni, can you answer this for me, please? I never understood why the Italian neighborhoods didn't build up like their own communities, like right there, and build them up. A lot of Jewish people, like Jewish neighborhoods in Brooklyn, they kept the neighborhoods clean and nice and built them up. Where the Italians, they leave and then they go and they disperse. That's like a pet peeve of mine. I really wish there was more.
I think it gets really, really deep, and that was into our conversation a little bit we had with Stiggy.
Yes.
Like, I think what we did was we took over cities, didn't we, and kind of corrupted them and ran them to the ground, and then got the fuck out of Dodge.
North Newark and many. I mean, I hate to say it.
Let's be honest. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a recipient of that kind of stuff, right? Especially with the Hoboken we were talking about.
Yes.
So my grandfather, when it was time for him to move into the assisted living, it's a 3-year waiting list, unless you're my uncle, and then it's a 1-day waiting list, right? And I think that's where you and I have a lot in common, Jason. I think we both have uncles, and I think we both probably know a little more than we should, and both were able to be in and out without any real trouble and any real obligation.
Well, Jason is yet. We should probably do it together with you guys. It'd be fun. Jason's yet to kind of give his full story because now he's like a respectable person.
So because my man hit it on the head, and very, very, very close, and thank God.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I have a master's degree, Jason. So, for me, I'm one of those guys that my whole life, even to this day, I'm stuck halfway in and halfway between those attitudes to where I try to intellectual my way out of things.
Yeah.
And then if not, I immediately want to resort to violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to this day. And so I know I can't do that. So it's frustrating, and, so living your life on both ways. Just so you know, I taught marketing and economics, including teaching teachers for 20 years. So I'm definitely somebody who, luckily, the respect for me was, hey, you're a college boy, keep hitting home runs, keep getting A's, and just don't get in too much trouble,
Well, I think you guys will agree with this. Again, I don't get me started about the whole Italian thing, but I think Italian families, like our generation together as guys, and our parents, their generation, they would have children, and like the newer school in terms of, your daughter, you're going to go to school, you're going to get a college, right? Where we are supposed to lay bricks and get a trade and join the union. And I always felt there was a big divide there. My mother said to me, she goes, you're going to do one of two things. You have to get a Mysteria, you got to get a trade, or you got to go to school. Like, that's it. But like versus my sisters, you got to go to school. I always felt there was a dichotomy there. You know what I mean?
As a business teacher, I always taught both. Like, to me, if you do anything after high school to get you some kind of license or some sort of skill over and above others, whether that's college or a trade school, I'm all for it. College is definitely not for everyone. It was for me because it was, I was reading as a little baby, and, it was just natural for me. And I think my dad made it almost like it was a competition. Like, the better I did at school,
I like that.
It was almost like when I was hitting home runs in Little League,
That's how I want to raise my.
Well, we got a special guest. Mo, before we have him on, Frank Fiordilino is going to join us. You're okay with that, I hope, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Francesco, how are you, sir?
Hey, what's up? Good. What's going on? This is my cat.
Hey, Frank, listen, you and Tom talk enough. You've never met me, Frank. I want to say this real quick. I am honored to meet you. I've seen you on, of course, Tom's show, and I've seen you on other shows. But when I saw you on was it the National Geographic special?
Yeah.
I saw you. I go, I don't even know you. I'm like, there's my guy. There he is. And, we don't even know each other. But I was so proud. I texted Tom. I said, Tom, that's awesome. He was on the show, whatever, maybe. Either way, pleasure to meet you, sir.
Same here. Did you like the show?
Yeah, I did. And you know what? You were, is it in our blood or something? You were so relaxed. You were so you were just telling the story like you're sitting around a table. So a lot of people they sit up and they're like, you can tell they're a little nervous and they're a little there's the lines that they have to say or whatever. you were like very comfortable, almost natural.
All right, to be fair to you on that one, they do a lot of takes. Okay, the first time, the first time was during COVID, so we couldn't be face to face with the camera people, with the directors, and the one clip they kept was where they asked me, "Who are you and what you have done?" So they take pictures of my hand while I'm trying to articulate, gesticulate like what I've done before, So I'm like, I don't know, arson, this and that. But it was like by the sixth time, it was so like relaxed and looked like, just get me the fuck out of here. That it came out right. And people like, look how calm this guy is. He talks about crime that easy. No, I just wanted to get out of there. And I was like, it's okay, murder, attempted murder, and whatever.
What are you gonna
do? I'll go ahead, Mo. Sorry.
I said, what are you gonna do? Little of this, little of that. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but
right. If I get to ask you what you have done in your life like 5 different times, and they ask you over and over, by the 6th time you're like, okay, this, that, and it looks so nonchalant, but it was like, and it's not. I mean, how is murder nonchalant? So it's like murder, attempted murder, and they're like, this guy must be a real scumbag,
Do those networks? I mean, obviously, it's don't do stuff for free, and of course, I don't want you to ever divulge what you make. But do they pay decent? Like they fly you out, they treat you nice, they pay you good, nice, some good money.
Good enough not to go on YouTube.
Good answer.
Bing, pow, boom.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna sell myself short when it comes to my story. Is my story, I don't know, better than anybody else's? Probably not, but it's my story to tell, and if you're willing to put it on air and you're gonna make money on your end, you're gonna pay me.
Well, I agree.
I think Frank hit something right on the head, right? Is my story any better than anybody else's? That's such a big thing on this, right? And part of why everybody argues on the chat and backstage, this guy's the real deal, that guy's not.
I got a bigger dick than you, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
These guys, so many of all of us have done a lot of things, right?
Sure.
And really, isn't the key for everybody to not be in the news all the time and not have the biggest name of always getting caught and getting in trouble?
100%. And you know what? The only difference between me and a lot of people that don't talk about their stories is I talked about mine. So there's a lot of people there with really great stories that can't talk about theirs because they'll get in trouble for it. I got immunity,
Yeah, and that's one thing, Frank, that's one thing me and Tom talk about. It's like, didn't they, all the guys who are on YouTube, the real guys like you, like, didn't they already, give what they did? So, and then I love, like, they have this show and they're like, oh, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to name names. And it's like, whoa, that's what we want. We want the action. But is it true that some things, you know what? I know murder, you don't get immunity. But is it true that some things, hey, listen, I'm not going to bring up, even though it was brought up in the court of law and it was public? Do you agree with that?
I sold myself. Once I started telling, I sold myself. Whatever they want to do with what I told, they can do with it. That was my price I had to pay for taking a 6-year prison sentence opposed to a life imprisonment, So I can't complain about that. You know what I mean? But they tell you that. They tell you that off the bat. We want to know everything.
Frank,
I want to know everything. And so I started, going from, I had maybe fucking good 60 assaults. I was a little bit too free of my hands, if you will, okay? And after a while, they were like, stop. After a while, they were like, stop. I go, did you forget anybody in the trunk? I said, no. Well, that's what we want to know at this point. I go, because, that's what it was. So crimes that you talked about or whatever. So basically, they just wanted to know big stuff.
What I got a question to ask you that I never asked you publicly or privately. might as well put you on the spot. But so you were around obviously some real guys, right? And then you obviously, flipped to Team USA. You served in, protected units, but you've been also population. What were the difference between the guys that maybe flipped that you spent times with versus the guys that didn't flip other than the flip? Like, were they like a little different? Like, I just would like to know example of guys that you served with, those 6 years. How are they different than the guys that stayed on the street, in your opinion?
The government ain't probably gonna like what I'm about to say. I hated everybody in the WIDSEC program.
Okay.
There's probably like 3 or 4 people I still talk to today that I did like. These guys thought they were still gangsters. They still thought they were made. They were like, well, were you a friend to differentiate from the ones who weren't? And it got really like, aren't we all the same here? Aren't we all rats? Aren't we all old? Why you guys think you're better than us? I've heard people say, I confronted one guy one time. He was a captain, and he said, and he got a little stupid with me. And I told him, look, nah, we could go outside right now. That life, you gave it up. You ain't nobody anymore. Nobody. I'm your somebody today. So we could go outside and take care of that now. Okay? So that's the only thing I hated about the WIDSEC course. That's when I realized I fucked up. When I went into these fucking things, they give you a Rolodex. And in the Rolodex, they're like, if you know anybody here you think might give you a little problem, let us know. Problem? We're all right. Who's going to give me a problem? I could see if they were really stand-up guys. And that's when I realized I seen certain people that are high-profile rats, and at that point I was like, shit, I made it to the big leagues, huh? I actually fucked up. I know why. My life will never be the same. And
Frank, can I ask you a
really
question?
long time to get past that.
Did you when you decided in your head, when you were like, okay, you know what, I'm worth something. You're sitting there by yourself, nobody's around you.
I knew I was worth something, but I never thought of it that way.
I'm worth something. Wait a minute. Yeah. I'm not going to jail. I'm not going for 25 to life.
I know I was worth something.
I've got currency over here. I've got currency. Did you? And then if you thought that, was there like you were calm that day? You were like, I can bring something to the table.
No, I was scared. I was scared because I could never go to my friends, my family. I knew I'm not like anybody else because even that thought fucking scared the shit out of me, and for all the right reasons today.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't talk to my family. My family, they don't hate me. I just disrupted their life. Okay. They were willing to. My family was willing to take care of me, make sure I had everything I needed, commissary up to kazoo. If I did come out at 30 years, make sure I had a house. They took that away from me too. I had that. I don't have none of that. Okay, because of my decision. Of my word, who I was, yeah, the first minute I walked in there, it took me 2 years to rat. And rat wasn't part of my thing, my repertoire. They said right away, you want to help yourself. First thing they said. So I knew I was in if I wanted to be in right that minute. Okay, so it wasn't like, oh, who am I? Who am I worth? I knew what I could bring. I knew what they wanted, but it was in my frame of mind.
But knowing your currency with the feds, knowing you were worth something, that wasn't comforting. It was scarier to jump into that pool, right? That's what you're saying. It was.
Well, it's scary is where I am today, alone.
Yeah.
I knew that. Okay. Not going back to Italy after 30 years. That was a plus if I taken a plea. I mean, what the fuck do I do? I still would have like 2 years. So I got locked up in 2021. I'd be going to Italy deported in about 2 years from now. I'd still be in jail now, okay? And then I got to start anew. Now, if I go to Italy for all you mob aficionados, yes, I go in right back where I started with all that family I got over there, with all the people I'm over there. I'll probably be doing what they're doing because I know them. I know them all. But it's like the pros and cons. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
Yeah.
I sometimes wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, I fucked up."
Let me ask you this, Frank. Sometimes when you graduate from a class or you're with a group or a crew or anything, you kind of like go your path and then somebody else goes another path. Is there anybody, you don't have to say names if you don't want to, but are there names, people, or crew that stayed in the life that you look at now and you're like, fuck, if I just sat tight, I could have been that person? Or
I'm not going to mention that person, but that person, through friends of mine, I hear were like, he's gung ho. He's like, what the fuck? Somebody get to him? Did somebody talk to him? Because that wasn't him. Something must have happened. And he does ask those questions, okay? And this dear friend of mine, love him. You know, he hates me, whatever. Or maybe he just has a tug of war with what happened. He's one of the guys that I actually told him that if you ever ask me to testify against, and I told the government that that's documented, that wasn't going to happen. And no, time happened. You know, I could answer that.
Well, it goes back to currency. And again, you know, I know Mo appreciate this. I think of the business end of things, right? Can you say to them that, listen, I'm going to do this, right? Whatever you need, but you verbalize it. I am not talking about Jason at all. He's my brother. He's my godfather's kid. Can you do that as part of negotiation or not?
No, but when they're looking for you to testify against Joe Messino on something so minimal, and you tell them, okay, that's fine, we're good, but I'm not going to testify about this one and that one, even though you might have said stuff about it. They'll be like, we're not interested in that. They'll say something to that nature. They're not going to tell you straight out, you know. And there's like a sibling of mine. I'll give you. They'll tell me no because we think he has a lot to do with other stuff. We understand you'll never testify. We'll promise you that you'll not testify against him. They did against one, but we're not going to give him immunity for a simple fact because we think he has a lot of shit. And I was like, well, I don't know nothing about him anyway, so you know, and that's something I would never do. I'll never. Family, there's a couple of friends I won't ever testify ever, and I can't anymore anyway. I fucked up. That was part of the deal. Once you fuck up, they're not going to ask you to testify no more. So I'm kind of relieved on that side.
Now, after you flipped, right? Was there ever any back channel communication?
I fucked up.
No, but was there ever like after you flipped, you know, whatever, any like, you know, through a lawyer or through somebody, did you ever get any back channel communications, like a threat or something like "fuck you"?
No, because I don't think I ever got a threat because I didn't put nobody away for life.
Yeah.
You know, you know, if you put somebody away for life, you're always going to have a threat. Okay, and I did testify in Baldo Amato's case. He got life.
Yeah.
Bobby Glasses, but they were my scope of that testimony had to do with gambling. Would they have even indicted him on my testimony? No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, there's a question from Johnny Technology. And this is in general, why did these guys come to the realization that they weren't cut out for the life before they got popped? Why do you think?
You know, somebody asked me that today on Facebook. It was kind of crazy. An old friend of mine, he goes, you know, Frankie, we talk about this and that in the life, and they go, we felt that maybe you were not cut up for that, maybe wouldn't, like, because they figured I was a little bit too nice or whatever. Shit, did you see my arrest record? It's pretty unique, I told them. You want me to put that out? I've done more damage than the mob done since 2010 by themselves.
Look, real quick, let me just jump in here about the. Go ahead, Mo. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did everybody get into a career and change their?
Just because I ratted, now it's easy for them to say, well, you know what? I always thought he was going to be a rat, but you know what? I kept busy.
Frank, can I ask you this as somebody from kind of the other side where my family always just kind of took it and shut up? I got a real serious question.
So did my family, believe me.
Not totally. All due respect.
We all rats are like cancer. We all have them in a family.
My question for you is, and I know you spoke about this before it ever happened with friends and even back in the schoolyard when we were kids, right? But how much of it is that life sentence that really changes the, because in all fairness, my family, maybe they did 5 years, maybe 8 years, maybe 3 years. That's a little bit different than when you're faced with life. And like Jason said, you have a pocket full of capital, right?
Right.
Am I up there?
No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right on that. It changes. A lot changes. It's it's like being on the ICU compared to having a Band-Aid on you. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's of course it changes.
Right.
What about so what are the things that I always think about too is, and I do my best, and I know there's a lot of shit for it. I do interview informants, but I also interview law enforcement. There's some shady stuff that law enforcement has done in some cases, or some guys did flip and they kind of turn out to be the disingenuous or liars after. Have your dealings with the government been square, or were they a little gray in your opinion?
You have asked me this. The government was always good with me. The marshals really well. You got to remember, I told you this before. My case produced like not one rat, not two rats, but like 15.
Yeah. Wow.
The government was like, okay, next. And they compared stories and they cooperated. If you didn't make sense, they kick you out the fucking room. There's one guy I know that was involved in the Sonny Black murder. He tried to go that route, but he was just trying to fucking move the goalpost, if you will. And they told him, we're not taking you. You're just bullshit too much. So, bad example. The case that I was in was a bad example. There was just too many stool pigeons.
Okay. Frank, isn't that
but back to like the NYPD, awful. All the occasions I've had with the NYPD, definitely everything you've heard about them, same shit. Just lying, and the ends justify the means. There was one scumbag. He goes on. His name is Ingerson, and I'll put him out because he's a scumbag. And he goes on this he's been on. He not testified. He got interviewed on Unsolved Mysteries on the Paul Ragusa case. Yeah. He was the biggest scumbag on the 104th precinct that you could imagine. He comes up there and even on the interview, he's like, well, these are really bad guys. That's his, instead of actually going after the case and seeing what was going on, he was just a jerk off. He came to arrest my brother one day. So he's in the basement, and the feds know because I told him. He's in the basement looking through my shit, and he goes to me like this. He goes, hey, I just found this knife. Can you close it for me? The fuck you think? I'm going to close the knife that you want to point my prints on. You fucking scumbag. You're a scumbag.
Jesus Christ.
Hey Frank, when a guy
the NYPD is a bunch of scumbags.
When a guy gets popped a lot, right? Like, I guess that gives you some street credit, but like, I
didn't get popped a lot. I got popped twice.
Okay, what I'm saying
is, top, 104 top.
Like, if a guy keeps failing in business, sometimes you're like, maybe I should. If he's asking you for 50 grand to jump in on another venture, kind of like, oh man, this guy already failed about 3 of them. So if a guy is like, he got popped for this, did 2 years, got popped again 3 years, are you guys like, hey, let's do business with him because he's a real street guy? Or you're like, wait a minute, he don't know how to stay away from law enforcement. Like, how is
Great
that?
point. yes, the more a guy gets locked up and holds his mud, the more that's the guy you want around. And you know who brought that point? John God. If you get a guy that does 20 fucking years and holds his mud, comes out, that's the guy you want. You don't want the guy who can make a lot of money and never been arrested.
Yeah, but all right. So I read Sammy's book. I'm like a quasi mob historian. The mob's been around, and we can argue, but it's essentially been around for 400 years at the minimum. What I don't get is why aren't there systems in place? Meaning, you're a hardcore associate, you have relatives in there, you get a communication, say, listen, because it's saying to this day, give you a stipend when you go away. As I understand it, like it used to be 5,000 euro. I think it's 3,000 euro a month for the family. So why don't they go to you and say, listen, you know what? Stand up. You have a kid or you have a business. We'll take care of you. We know you're going to do a stretch. You get out. Maybe you come out to a bag. So you're financially taken. Because I look at it this way, right? When they say, and when they stab your finger and burn the cross, they say, you have to put us before your family. The truth of the matter is people care about their family first, unless you're a shitty person, right? So what I'm saying is, why don't they put mechanisms in place where, and I think the West Side does, where if you get popped or something happens, why don't they take care of you financially? So you're like, you know what, I'll do the time and my daughter will still go to college. I'll do my time and my wife will still have food. That's
not everybody does it. That's just movie shit. In Italy, I know you think that happens in Italy. Don't. Not as much as you think. No.
So it happens with straight guys. When I say straight,
you know what happens with straight guys, right?
More.
You know what happens with if me and you went and did work together. Let me let my cat out. Hold on.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point, Tom. That's a good point. And
I look at it like this is a business, right?
If my neighbor died and my neighbor and his wife is sitting there, struggling for food, I'm going, oh my God, let me see what I can.
No. Let's talking about lawyers and everything like that. Me and you go rob a bank together. You get in trouble, and I get away. Yeah, you hear about the guy taking care of it. I had this conversation with Ali Boy Purse ago one time, and he was like, well, he was like, I don't know. There's two sets of argument to it. If you commit a crime together, if not, is that guy responsible? If that guy ain't, that question right there, about the treasure and all that, shit's been around forever. Not everybody does it. Some people do. You hear about the people that do.
Was there a family that you heard about, whether the family that you were associated with or outside of your family, that you heard, wow, you heard stories like, wow, the West Side took care of this guy and that guy. The Gambinos, this guy's been away, or this guy got whacked. And they took care
I've seen people get arrested and doing a lot of time. It's usually not that is, you know what I mean? I seen, and they put the family to work in their business or whatever. That was about it, though. Nothing spectacular.
But Frank, so hold on. So the reason why I bring this up is they found one of Gigante's sons with $3 million in cash, the names of deceased West Side members in New Jersey, as well as active members in New Jersey, as well as those in jail. And there was like records found where this was like kind of a trust fund, if you will, that was dispersed every month or whatever period were to take care of those guys, right? So my understanding is if you were a Genovese Wise guy and you went away and you were a made guy, you were taken care of. I kind of think I mean that's what they found. That's what they allege. What I'm getting at is that part of the reason why the West Side is strong? I'm just like maybe
I think it's because they don't get involved in a lot of the nonsense, the murders and stuff like that. They're going towards like business aspects, more white collar. And I could see, I mean, I've not that I ever talked anything criminal with him, Barney, but I could see Barney going that way just because of the person he is. Yeah. Barney's seen the collapse of the mob in the 90s. He got out, he's out of it now. Is he trying to make things better? Probably for to not create the mistakes other families have. Yeah, I could see that. He's that guy,
Well, I'm looking at the economics, and you get and maybe
I know you're looking at.
No. I'm saying like,
hey, Frank. Tom can't wrap his head around.
He does it all the time.
Street guy economics and not knowing how to grow this business.
Listen.
I've told him way before. I was definitely not a money guy.
No. But what I'm saying is, you look at a guy like Joe Messino, right? You look at a guy like whoever, like they were making millions a year, right? Again, maybe I'm too logical, but the Cosa Nostra has been around for 400 years. You will have pentiti rats. You will have guys that go away. You're gonna have money guys. You're gonna have hitters. You're gonna have all these different things. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, penny's perfect, babe. Thank you, babe. Oh, then the spaghetti, you do it, whatever.
Back to Messino, though, right? And I'll give you a good example. Pete Calabrese had $300,000 of the treasury, and he had gotten locked up. Joe was trying to reach out for Pete while he was out there, but couldn't get in touch with him. But now when Pete came in with the Cesar Bovetri here, he finally gives him a message. And I was with Pete up on the 6th floor, and he tells him, "Hey, what happened with that money?" Year later, Joe Messina flips that money. You think he gave it to him? I don't know what Pete did. Pete was doing 15 years. He probably, you know what I mean? He was holding money for the treasure that nobody got to begin with. But now when Joe got arrested, he was looking for it.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that's a true story. I don't know, man. I think I don't know. Shit.
But so then
I had an uncle of mine fucking and his kids. I got in trouble. My cousins had me doing shit. They had more money than God. I could have starved in there. They didn't send me a dime.
Yeah. Well, okay. So what about? See, this is the part I don't get. Especially the Sicilians. A lot of these guys are related too. So if they're not going to send you a dime,
oh yeah, you think family? Yeah.
If Sammy flipped, Messina flipped, if I was a guy now or 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh my God, they flipped. If those guys flipped, what the hell? It's almost like me trying to be like, I'm going to be Michael Jordan.
Jay.
I'm going to be Michael Jordan. Like, what?
Listen. From a guy that wasn't a money guy, if Sammy, I owed him $100,000 and he flipped, you think, yeah, I'm going to be that rat bastard. I'm going to pretend I didn't know I owed him that money.
Jesus.
Okay. Right.
I'll be celebrating.
Okay. The Bananas. Prior to 2000, from 1931 to 2000, there was 0 informants. Then the floodgates opened post 2000. What the fuck happened,
Tom? That's a wrong stat, Tom. Frank, that's a wrong stat. Floodgates opened way before that.
No.
He's actually right. As far as the first informant, that was I'll tell you when. It was October of 2002. That's when we had our first informants, Cantarella and Copel. What happened? He put money guys there, and the money guys like their money too much. They didn't want to do time, and they flipped.
But then why give? I get the old, hey, have them do work so you can have something on them. You know, the old adage of make your bones, because if you have something on them, go away. But why make the money guys do work? Let them make money, feed the Borgata, and then we have the hitters that do the dirty work. Why have the money guys do work? That doesn't make sense to me.
This is Joe Messina's way of thinking. He has the kids made, right? So if the money guys get caught up on a homicide or a body, the kids are still outside. If the kids are still outside, he has that weight on them. Now, with the Cantarella case, what happened was Cantarella thought he had a little Michael Corleone and that jackass son of his, Paulie Cantarella, who couldn't pee straight.
Yeah.
And he got caught up in a fucking home invasion. And he was looking at 10 years. He was made because same thing. And the dad was the same way.
Why is a made money guy doing a home invasion?
Gentlemen, I gotta take off. I'm having trouble with my mic here. I can't hear you.
Great.
He's out. He don't want to hear them.
Nice to meet you, Fred.
God, I'm gonna depart too. I gotta go up with the family.
See, they're getting bored, Tom.
No. It's Friday night. I got to take the wife out with the kids.
I get it. Real quick.
I'm serious.
So,
no, Frank, I'm staying on with you for a few minutes, and I'm going to drop the link for others. So stay on.
So back to that. The kid didn't want to do time. The father was finally like up Joe Messino's ass, but at this point, we not that much anymore. And he flipped, and his son flipped with him.
But why is it?
That's the problem. You know what's going on with the Bonanno family?
Why did a made guy, made money guy, do a home invasion? Like, I don't know. Again,
he didn't do it. His son did it. His son did it.
Why does his son do it?
Because his son thought he was the next Michael Corleone. Because he's in Staten Island. They're gonna fucking bust a grape. His dad is Richie Canarella. So, he's with Joe Messino, and it's all the name game. And that's what happened. It's, how many jackasses he made? I'm talking about Joe Messino. I can name about 6 or 7. Same shit. Never squashed a grape. In the Bonanno family. Had more money than God. I'm related to
Frank, were people buying buttons during your time? Is that true? Were people buying buttons? Like literally, like forget how much they made. Like were they literally saying, "Hey, here's $100,000"?
Nobody buys buttons. That's bullshit. That's you know what they buy is they buy money. So in other words, I like this kid. I'm taking him around. So he's got to have a little bit of fucking pedigree, like whatever, even if it's 10%. And they walk him through it. Have I ever heard of somebody said about $50,000 for a button? No, that's ludicrous. That's stupid.
Cross-check that, Tom. Remember we talked about that. People buying buttons.
Who said that?
You told me that people were buying buttons.
Well,
I've never heard of anybody buying a button.
I heard that in some cases that I won't mention is they would.
The guy not mentioning something.
Like they would like kick in like gratuitously. And like all of a sudden now they're, Frank knows this. I'm a money guy. I want to hang around. Like I heard from multiple.
It's gradually they get butt fucked. They put their ass real nice and slow to get dick right by some made guy. That's what's going on.
Well, that's
how it goes.
Pleasure to meet you, Frank.
Be good, Jay. No, but that's the thing, Frank. Let's be real. There was probably up until 15 years ago, there was a lot of business guys, straight guys like me, that were like fascinated and did like.
Yeah, but Tom, they got to have a little couth about it. They're just not going to say, give me some money and I'll make you made. It was like, they start bullshitting each other. The guy having a maid and the guy thinking he's going to be somebody now. I know guys who get made money, guys who think they could. Louis DeBono is a perfect example with the Gambino family. This guy was a money guy and everything like it. He felt because he had Paul Castellano's ears, he could disrespect anybody he wants and couldn't fucking squash a grape. And one day he pissed off the wrong person, a killer, and that killer killed him.
The Chili's were like that, right?
Never met the Chili's, but there's a lot of people in organized crime like that. They fucking figure, but they got that status quo. They got that, the nepotism going on. I've said that so many times. People are probably tired of me. Listen to me about it, but basically that's what it is.
What about, was there anybody, you can mention her name or not, it's your call. Was there anybody that surprised you? Like associate that was like a nobody, couldn't squash a grape, couldn't make money, but then got their butt and is really shot up and is still in the life and doing well. And you're like, holy shit, how did that fucking Dradrul do it? Anybody?
Yes. Nobody in my family, because I figured that they had money, they had pedigree, they got made. Fine. There was a couple of people, nepotism. Good. There was Salmateg, the Iron Man. There you go.
Oh,
got made out of nowhere. Knew how to make money, got made, and the person who inducted him had him killed. I'm not had him killed that way. That guy had no business being in that life.
I don't know if I should announce it. I got the book. I had to print it. It's a long story. It's not available in the U.S. My interview is coming up. My biggest interview to date is coming up on Wednesday. Should I announce it now or should I just keep it close to the chest, Frank?
Nah, just no. No. It's a good one. I definitely going to be tuned in, but no, not yet.
Yeah. I'm talking to him on Wednesday, and I'm pretty excited. Let me ask you this: Did you see my Escobar wife interview?
I did. I liked it a lot.
What was your take? Because it was a different side of Pablo, obviously. What was your take?
Well, yeah. See, I like different takes on different organized crimes. And then I like the different takes within the organized crimes from people that you usually don't get them from, like a wife, a son, a nephew, or whatever, and what comes into that. How stressful it was. How this woman had to move real quick, and she was exiled to like Argentina, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a very, very interesting story.
Well, one of the I'm listening because I got to read this. I might need your help. It's in Italian, so I'm pretty good at it, and I'll probably.
My Italian's shabby.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes my written Italian, I could read it and understand it better than if I were to speak it and read it. It's weird, but nevertheless, in his book, everybody came out of the woodwork and took their money. Like, it wasn't like that's one of the things the cartels. And I know, I think what's the name may be here, Jesse, and it might be changing, but the cartel structure was like kind of like once a cartel folds, that's it. But these families live forever. You get what I'm saying? Like the Bonanno family, whether we like it or not, will probably be around in the next 50 years. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the cartels in that town, I'm pretty sure where was Escobar from? Medellin.
Medellin, yeah.
Yeah, there's still cartels in Medellin.
Yeah.
It's not the Escobar cartel, but it's some other cartel.
Well, I will say this.
The tentacles grow,
I will say this. In the book, the son's book, Sebastian Marroquin is a son of Escobar. I'm trying to get him on as well, so stay tuned. But that's not the interview. I have to work some things out. I may be able to get him on. I might get his wife back on again. I'd like to get them on together if I could. But in his book, he talked about the father, Pablo Escobar, lamenting or idolizing a certain Sicilian mafioso who used bombs, who was Totorina. And he actually mentioned him multiple times in his book how Pablo got his inspiration for the bombings because Totorina was the one to first take on the state. So Pablo's like, if that fucker can do it, I like that guy. I'm going to do it. I don't know if a lot of people know that.
The difference between both of them was, I think he bombed at a Avianca flight. Escobar did.
Yes.
And you're going against civilians.
But Frank, the when he went away and why he was on the lam, I think there was 6 bombings in mainland Italy, in Florence, Rome, Venice. And like they killed innocent people, and on top
they
of
did,
it,
yeah.
On top of it,
no, I'm not rationalizing. I'm saying I'm actually calling both of them out. I'm like, some assholes like praising another asshole. Yeah, all right, cool. Fuck. I mean, whatever. Yeah, they both suck.
Real quick on your Narcos interview, you guys got to check it out. Narcos. Season 3, episode 3.
Episode 3, yeah.
I feel like for those people that are into the mob, into this genre, it was one of the more important episodes that was ever out there. Because me following everything, I always followed the trail for her. I didn't know that Badalamenti was a drug dealer later in life, that he wasn't a drug dealer in Sicily. I always thought he was in the game. Number 2, the ties to terrorism and the Mujahideen, which is now basically the Taliban and basically Al Qaeda. So it's like, wait a second, the Sicilians helped fund that. And in my opinion, I think the government looked the other way. And then when the Mujahideen no longer became valuable to them, the DOJ said, fuck it, let's just close down the Sicilian pipeline. I think the CIA and the DOJ had a lot to do with it prior. And then they're like, fuck it.
You've been dying to bring that aspect up.
Yeah.
Look, Edwin Meese, who was our Attorney General under Ronald Reagan, stated not too long ago, and I've heard him say it to somebody else. Did we make deals with Vito Genovese to keep the communists out of Sicily? Of course we did. He said, he's 91. He don't care.
Yeah. And
he goes, so why would you be surprised if the CIA had made deals with the Sicilian mob during the Afghani-Russian war? So There you go.
Yeah. And then
USA.
on top of it, so the Mujahideen took all of our money, right, from the poppy seeds that the Americans were giving them, the arms that we gave them, the CIA training that was given them, chased out the Russians, and then turned around and used our own weaponry against our own soldiers.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Who signs off on that?
It's collateral damage. That's what it is.
Well, you're gonna like this one. You should come on.
It's like a very, very elaborate version of Mob 2.
Well,
sometimes you have to make friends. Hey, sometimes you have to make friends with Lee Cole to go after I don't know, the Angel Gotti. You know what I mean?
Well, I will tell you this.
The dirty war.
I'm in a discussion with a former DEA agent. He wrote a book called Powder Burns. He's going to come on the show. He was a guy who put together. He's like a whistleblower. He's the one who blew the whistle on the Nicaraguan and the CIA covert operations to bring coke to the U.S. and then through Rick Ross, etc., flooded it in black communities. So the CIA, to this day, it was never substantiated. But the CIA was involved. Nobody talks about this shit. I'm telling you, like I'm gonna do the episode. All
You're gonna get me in trouble. I do not want to talk about this shit anymore. Not that I know anything, but you brought me pretty close to.
Well, how about
they didn't. Narco Wars did.
Yeah, that's true. And then it was also interesting. Even so post Badalamenti, we talk about this a lot. Post Badalamenti. Who kind of took over the heroin trade for the Sicilians? Was it the Gambino brothers?
I don't know. Did they have a longer stretch because they got caught later on?
Yeah.
I guess. I told you there was this part 2 case after it was called the Pizza Connection 2.
Yeah.
And they arrested every
light though.
Yeah, they arrested every bum in my neighborhood and in Bushwick and everywhere in Queens that was left that wanted to make themselves some money and they create. Yeah, those heydays were over. I told you, just on the other things that produce business from drug business, like gambling and pizza shops and everything. They were starting to close down, by 86, 87, the whole heroin network was from Italy starting to.
Then I think the Mexicans took it over because they already were doing the cocaine and hashish and weed, and they inserted now fentanyl. I mean, fentanyl's another demon.
Right. Yeah, that's a bad one. I don't see the mob getting involved with fentanyl. I hope not. Anyways,
have you ever? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What's that?
Have you ever heard anybody who was smart about it, who did their 5 or 10 year stretch in the game on the drug side and got the fuck out and made tons? I know of one or two guys.
Very, 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 very few.
Very few.
Very few. And you know what happened after that? People were like, "Oh, he must have ratted because he skated." So you got a lot of that. So you can't win. Yeah. Even if you quit, you're gonna get bad mouthed from them people that their families are in prison. Well, my dad had business with him. Why is he still out?
So the meeting at 57 in Sicily, I will fight to the death on this. The meeting in 57 in Sicily with Buscetta, Bonanno, what is it called? Luciano, and then there's
Mattarella,
and a few other side. I still think Appalachian, the whole meeting was a post follow-up to solidify the heroin network and nothing else. That was my opinion for that meeting in 57 in New York as a follow-up from the Palms meeting. Everybody fights me on it. People say I'm full of shit. I'm sticking to that. What do you think?
I mean, it could have been everything. I mean, you got to remember there was a lot of people that were oblivious to drugs back then that were present at that Appalachian. I don't know. That could have been anything. That could have been a commission meeting.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll never know because it got broken.
I mean, how do you open? There's too many people involved that probably weren't on board. How do you open a meeting of that caliber with all those people there. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah. I wonder if they had
Yeah.
an agenda that they passed out. I wonder how they organized it because they did meet for a few days before they got broken up, I believe, right?
Yeah, that could have been just on technicalities, logistics that were going on in New York itself. I don't know if it was so much of a drug meet. You got to remember, not everybody was on board, especially in '57.
Did Sicilians like Vito Genovese because he wasn't a Sicilian? Did Sicilians like him?
I either or. I've never heard anything.
Yeah.
You know, definitely way before my time.
Well, he went to go work for Mussolini for a minute.
Well, yeah. Now, okay, that was on the Tresca murder.
Correct.
That was the guy who had the Progresso newspaper.
Yep.
He was a communist collaborator, and Mussolini was so. That was a perfect storm. Us being American and everything. I never read into that really well. Badano claims he liked Tresca.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, he liked being American. Tresca was a commie. I didn't get it. I don't know. So apparently, Carmine Galante was the guy who pulled the trigger on that one.
Well, what about Mussolini's era, right? Cesare Mori, the Iron Prefect.
Sure.
Actually, it worked. If you were suspected to be a made guy, they took you in. If they didn't, they tortured you to find out who was. They didn't fuck around. Like they literally were eradicating the mob. But allegedly, it got they cut so deep that they got because Cesare Mori got taken out of. I don't know if people know this, out of Sicily and moved to
I think by 1930 he was taken out. So he ruled from 24 to 29, and he went from and within 29 to 31. Organized crime in Sicily was gone. He was Rudy Giuliani times 50. This guy was bad. He threw people in jail, had people killed, and he was appointed there by Mussolini, and the mob was non-existent at that time. He did a very good job, and that's why the mob in America got so.
Because people came over,
got huge.
People defected.
They all started coming in. By 29 and 31, you had all these immigrants coming down, all these criminals. A lot of them went to Argentina. A lot of them came to America, South America, and the United States, especially New York. And that's how the five families were formed. For them all getting freaking kicked out of Italy, the ones that made it out.
But what about with what is it called? If you look after that point, after World War II, from the 50s to the 90s.
43, liberation of Sicily opens up a lot of floodgates.
Well, that's my point. So then from in the 40s all the way to probably mid 90s, the Sicilian mafia became a worldwide powerhouse in Sicily. Forget about.
Okay, what people fail to understand is we had the backing of the CIA.
Yeah.
You know, we were allowed to have open house. We were allowed to open house on the commies in Sicily. There was a lot of atrocities. There was a Porta della Ginestra in Sicily at the time. No, where the CIA got together with the mob, and people fail to understand that Mattarella, who was known as the governor, Bernardo Mattarella of Sicily, was in bed with the CIA and the mob. So from then on, the mob had a lot of free hand to do whatever they wanted, as long as they kept the communists out of their region.
Yeah, they didn't care.
You guys do whatever. We fund you. We do whatever. So it was kind of like the Afghani thing, just different times, different, and back to what Vito Genovese was saying.
Well, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the Communist Party in Italy to this day is about 3% of the population.
It's always been the strongest in Western Union and Western Europe.
Correct. And they have, to this day, the way the parliament works is like, it's not like you win, winner takes all, like in the US. Like, it's like you win, but like the vice president could be another party. But I have a cousin in Italy. He's actually a communist. The
PSI. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. It's been there. It still is there. But at one time, they're no longer a threat. When they were a threat, we were back. The mob was back to the CIA, and the CIA come 90, 91, they were like, you guys are on your own now. We don't need you. And the Italians started cracking down. The government started cracking down on the mob.
Quick question. We'll be wrapping up, so Big G, thank you. Frank, can you say that you're going to talk to the government, but take it back, or you still considered a rat?
You're always considered a rat. And I always bring this to mind because there's always somebody that comes up in that conversation, and I don't want to bring it up because it's not my business.
Yeah.
When I was
Thank you, Big G.
Italians by nature are very jealous people. And when we used to be in MDC and some guy used to come in, we used to take bets on if he'd flip or not. They probably took bets on me when I came on.
Yeah.
And already we were hating on the guy instead of like confronting him and saying, hey, dude, calm down. Don't worry about it. You know, it's going to be okay. Don't listen to what the government's saying. We're like, well, he's with the Colombos anyway. You know what? Fuck him. Let's see if we could freaking get him to flip because I don't like half of those guys anyway. We do that. We do that. Believe that. So the minute we find out a guy has probably had that little change of heart or a weak moment, and we find out about it, we never let it go. Yeah. We're like, his mind was there anywhere. Okay, unlike like the African Americans, for example. I knew guys that went into interrogations and then came back and said, you know what, fuck it, I had a weak moment. And their friends are like, you know what, at least they ain't telling on us no more. He had a bad day. And they take him in. They're not happy, but they take him in. They knew he's not going to tell on them. You know, now he ain't sitting on them. We don't do that. We're like, fuck him. We don't want him to sit with us no more. This and that. And so, yeah, no, we don't take him back. Once we find out, it's just us. We're jealous people. We're Italian.
Were you surprised about Scarpa? I know it's a little before your time, but
I didn't know him. I didn't know nothing to be surprised about. But reading his whole history and who he is and everything like that, yeah, I mean, shit. If I was Greg Scarpa, I would have ratted.
Who? We'll be wrapping up soon. If you have any questions, we're gonna wrap up soon.
How many people on the chat?
We got 285. We're broadcasting to Mobsters Inc. We have some people there. Twitter, it doesn't count in the number, and then and also Armchair. So thank you everybody. Big G, thank you. Remember, email me Tom a new theory, and I'll get you that sauce. Who shocked you when you heard they rolled? When you heard they rolled, who did you literally shit? Like you, like to this day, like who were you befuddled when they flipped during your career?
Damn. I'm gonna talk about, of course, Joe Messino.
Yeah.
Even though he was acting weird, he wasn't acting weird enough to ever give me that inclination. If somebody's telling me that they felt that way, shit, I'm gonna make them pick my football teams this Sunday. But no, probably him. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
that's a biggie, you know.
Now, you know, I was talking to Anthony Arulata not too long ago, and he brought a good point. These days, whoever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just real quick, guys, just a plug. If you haven't seen the Pablo Escobar's wife interview, it's on the channel. Check that out.
Very good.
Did a good one with Giovanni Rocco, who was an undercover against the Cavalcantes. And please check out the Arulata and Frank interview. It's around 10,000 views almost.
Listen, it was horrible. I interrupted so many times.
Listen, you know what?
It was terrible.
Listen,
Anthony was great. I just
listen,
I'm not made for having too many people around.
Listen, Frank, anybody that knows me from the New Theory days, even through part of the Buttman, I'm in probably about 450 shows between the three shows. I used to cut people off to the point I would like get emails and be like, I like your questions. Stop. That was nothing. So don't worry about it. You get a pass. And
all right, sorry about that.
No, you're a gem, brother. We appreciate. Is Joe Messino out of prison? If so, is he one of the trolls on MobTube?
About him, okay, out of prison, yes. About him being one of the trolls of Mob 2, I don't know.
That's funny. That is funny. I am an interrupter. Tony Ducks knows I'm an interrupter. Well, listen, we're gonna wrap this up. Big G, thank you, Frank. You're always valuable with your time. I really appreciate it. Frank and I are working on some stuff. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. We're gonna have Anthony Arulata back on. I gotta read this weekend. So we got
that's gonna be good. I'm excited for you, Tom.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little scared. I'm not gonna lie. I actually, for like a second, I was like, should I fly to Italy to meet with him? And his side
You're
was
not gonna get bombed, I promise.
no, but his side was like, it's not possible. And then I'm like, well, can he come to New York? And then they're like, no. I would have paid.
Yeah.
I would have flew. But the answer was and
that'll be great. That's gonna be a great interview.
And what's worse is my mother's friend made sauce with us this last weekend, and she's on the Pasta Grannies, by the way. Maria, beautiful woman, 700,000 views. She's 80-something years old. She heard that I was who I was interviewing, and she's like, "You can't do that, like, because I wouldn't be able to do this shit if my mother was alive. She wouldn't allow me to."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
he's not a very popular family.
Not at all, but he's not an informant. So I know people are asking about that. That's one hint.
No, he's not an informant.
And we'll call him Junior. I guess we could call him Junior, right? He's a junior, I think.
Is he a junior?
That's what they call him. Yeah, not the other brother, him.
Oh wow! Okay.
I didn't know that. I'm doing research on the guy now, and I'm finding out some interesting stuff.
All right. That's about it, I think. Right? What else? You got anything else? Any questions from the panel?
Let's see. Joe Messino's in We Push Back, I believe. That's another one. How many Albanians did you shoot back in the day?
It was an accident. Somebody knows me, obviously. Yeah, no, it was a card game. It was an accident.
Yikes. Well, listen, Frank, it's always a pleasure. Thank everybody. 4 interviews to check out: the Pablo one, the Arulata with Frank, the Giovanni Rocco. And for those who haven't, please subscribe to Mobsters Inc. I did a great interview with Anna Sergi and talk about the Indragada. So, Frank, thanks so much for being on. And it's always
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. See you guys soon. Ciao.
All right, guys.